Hi and welcome. Today I'm creating an abstract spread in my Arteza paper pad. I use it as kind of an art journal and I really like the paper for mixed media. It's usually made for watercolors, but I don't like it for watercolors that much. I have used washi tape to tape a border around my page because I feel it makes an abstract piece look a bit better. I start by scribbling some lines with a new color crayon, and I just sketched kind of leafy shapes. I wanted to use autumn colors, and I think that's the reason why I thought about leaves. I'm working with the new color 2 crayons. They are water soluble, so they will mix into my next layer, which will be acrylic paint. I don't mind that. It's just a start for the blank page, and it's not important that these are leafy shapes. It's just something I draw because I thought of it. You just can make scribbly lines or stuff like that. It's not that important. The important thing of that underlayer is to break the blank page and to have some kind of interesting texture. I'm going to use the flash paints. These are amazing matte acrylic, or they are vinyl paints, but they are like acrylics, just not glossy. They dry completely matte. They look exactly like gouache paint. I would say like acrylic gouache because they do not reactivate once they are dry. I use a silicone brush to apply the paint. You can use a normal brush so you get some of the brush stroke texture. I don't really like these textures that much. I like it if the background is more flat, so I prefer the silicone brush. You can also use a small dough scraper from the kitchen. That works also pretty nice. What I also like about these paints, if you buy the bigger ones, you get them in a glass instead of a plastic tube, and that's what I prefer because it's better for our earth. We have less waste, and also these glasses are perfect to reuse them once they are empty. I picked another color to just go over the first layer and blend it a little bit here and there. The paper piece I have laying on the right side is my leftover paper. I will use it for future projects as a collage paper, and I just clean my brushes there. I try out pencils, all that kind of stuff. Here I'm going into the wet paint with a pastel pencil. You can use any kind of sharp tool. I like to use the pastel pencil because I get some of the pigment onto my page, and this has a really interesting look. And I'm back with those leaves as a motif. I let that background completely dry, and I decided to add in a little bit of stamping for some interest. and I'm using the black cherry from Stays On because I thought it would fit my color scheme. And the stamp I'm using is from one of the pencil mark sets. I will link up all the stamps I'm using in the video description, and you will also find the materials list. Next I'm going in with some more acrylic paint, and this is from Deco Art Media, the Quinacridone Orange. It's more of a transparent paint and I really like the vibrancy of it. And I just apply it a little bit with my fingers. It usually should be a liquid paint. I think I have it for about 3 or 4 years and it's not that liquid anymore. I'm using a spray bottle with water to add a little bit, and then I'm just blending the paint and let it run a bit over my page. I let that dry completely, and here I'm going in with another stamp. I'm using a ticket stamp from the Mixed Media Marks #1 stamp set to give it some kind of a different texture. Everything is organic on my page now, and I want to bring in something different that makes the higher contrast design-wise, I would say, not color-wise. Of course, I'm using black ink, so I get even more contrast. Yeah, I have the feeling that these unexpected textures are really interesting. As everything is a little bit flat and the values are all in a similar range, I decided to come in with something light, and I'm using the Ivory acrylic ink from Schminke, and I just blend it in with my fingers, and this gives me some highlights on the page and increases the interest. And here I also use a bit of water to blend that out. And once this was dry, I come back in with the oil pastels. I just got to try them out from Paul Rubens, and I will have a video on them on my channel. Not sure if it's already online or if it will come in the next week. If it's already uploaded, I will of course link it up in the end cards. The Paul Rubens oil pastels are super creamy. They remind me on the ones from Sennelier. But what I have to say, I'm not an oil pastel painter. I just use these pastels in my sketchbook for fun and in the mixed media pieces I do. So I can give you a good opinion if you are an oil pastel painter and you want to create layered paintings with these pastels. Then I can't tell you if they are super good or not, but I love them for the the things that I love to do. I like that they are really creamy and I can cover big areas. They are opaque, they blend nicely, and that's what I think is the fun part. And always with using oil pastels, you have that problem that you have to fix them in any kind if you want to use them as artwork or as a tag or a card to send. In this journal, I just let them be because I only work on the right pages, and then I don't mind. And in my sketchbook, I always lay a piece of transparent paper in between, so the pages are protected. To create some interest with these pastels, you can scratch into the surface and give them some interesting texture. And here I just add some little lines, and it's almost hard to see this on camera, but on the original piece you can see the lines and the background is coming through the pastels. Here I'm using a Derwent drawing pencil, and these pencils are amazing. They almost go over every medium, and you can see they go over the old pastels. Of course, they are scratching them away in some areas, but only in the thicker areas. The other is they just paint or draw over them, and that's great because you will not find many products that go over oil pastels. I used the ivory black because I wanted to have more contrast between the values, so I want to have some really dark spots against the white. Here I got out a Neocolor too, and I make some marks, but they don't work over the oil pastels. I just use this one in the areas where I have no oil pastel. Here I'm adding some splatters with the acrylic ink. I believe I used the ivory color that I've already used before. Yes, and that's my finished piece for today. I will add a photo how it looks without the washi tape. I recorded the removing of the washi tape, but I recorded it for an Instagram reel, so it's not perfect for a YouTube video. So you will find this in my Instagram reels. Yes, but you can see the photo, and I have also linked the blog post.